the graduands please turn and face the platform? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Spring Convocation 2013. Would you please join our vocalist, Alison Walmsley, in the singing of O Canada, and then please remain standing for the invocation.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see the rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Creator God, giver of every good gift, as we gather here today to celebrate the academic achievements of the graduates of the College of Education, we give thanks for so many things. We give thanks for the freedom to live life with joy to the fullest. We give thanks for the earth and for each other and for the gift of life. We pray that we can continue to support each other in being good stewards of our gifts and good citizens of our planet. We thank you for the gift of education and for our classmates and our professors, those who have challenged us not only to learn about their area of expertise, but more importantly, to think about how we can address the larger issues that confront us in this life. As so many in this world struggle for the basic necessities, give us courage to emerge as educated leaders in our global village, to see past our own needs to the needs of others. Let us be mindful teachers, thoughtful educators, self-reflective practitioners, and lifelong learners. Today we are in admiration of all the years of hard work our students have put in, and we celebrate them as they receive their degrees. We give thanks for our greatest gift, those who have supported us throughout our lives. Our loved ones, our families, and friends who encouraged us, believed in us, and were there for us in our times of need. We give them our love and our gratitude, those who join us here today and those who couldn't be here but are present in our hearts. And we thank you for the promise of the future. As our students convocate today, we see that they have limitless potential. Bless them in their future choices, whether it be work, travel, or continue with more study. Let us all use our gifts wisely. As Dr. Frederick Buechner says, let our deepest desires meet the world's great needs. For all this, we say thank you, and we ask help to use all that we have learned to share with others to make our community, and indeed our world, a better place to be. God be with us today and always. Amen.
Please be seated. Once again, graduands and distinguished guests, welcome. I am Elizabeth Williamson. I'm the University Secretary, and I have the honor of introducing to you the members of the platform party that you see before you. So beginning with the front row, on my left and your right, Russell Eisinger, Registrar and Director of Student Services. Patty McDougall, Vice Provost, Teaching and Learning. Karen Chad, Vice President, Research. Greg Fowler, Vice President, Finance and Resources. Heather Megatu, Vice President, Advancement and Community Engagement. President Eileen Bush-Vishniak. Chancellor Vera Pezer. Fred Carmichael, our recipient this afternoon of the Honorary Doctor of Laws. Paul Merriman, MLA, Saskatoon-Sutherland. Robert Badger, Traditional Knowledge Keeper. Michael McLean, University Chaplain. Adam Baxter-Jones, Dean, College of Graduate Studies and Research. Laurie Helston, Associate Dean, College of Education. In the second row, 3 of our university orators, Candace Wasakase-Lafferty, Kathleen James Cavan, and Wendy Klingenberg. Walter Pavlovich, representative for the University of Saskatchewan Retirees Association. Grit McCreath, member of the Board of Governors. Judy McMillan, President, University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association. Ehamai Ohiozaba, President, Graduate Students Association. Max Feinday, President, University of Saskatchewan Students' Union. And the following members of our Senate: Shirley Haynes, Leanne Abel, and Nadia Prokopchuk. Richard Schreer, Department Head, Curriculum Studies, College of Education. And behind them, and I would ask them to stand, members of the faculty of the University of Saskatchewan. Would you please join me in expressing to all of these faculty, administration, and members of our governing bodies our thanks for the work they have done by supporting, teaching, and encouraging our graduates. We acknowledge the traditional territory of Treaty 6 on which we have gathered for this event. Please stand as you are able for the honor song. Please be seated.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I present to you Frederick James Carmichael. Mr. Carmichael has always been connected to the land and its people, even though he has spent much of his life in the sky. The influence of his parents on his path to become a successful businessman, political leader, and tribal elder are obvious. His mother came from a long line of Gwich'in chiefs. His father, a trapper in the Northwest Territories, became the first elected member of the Northwest Territories Council. As a 12-year-old boy, the excitement of seeing a bush plane take off and disappear into the horizon changed his life. He became the first Aboriginal commercial pilot in Canada's north. Soon after that, he started his first of many air service businesses. His airlines would serve wildlife survey crews, the northern tourism industry, and fly many rescue missions. Mr. Carmichael served as president of the Gwich'in Tribal Council and CEO of the Gwich'in Development Corporation. As chair of the Aboriginal Pipeline Group, he is dedicated to balanced growth and development, recognizing both the traditional role of guardian and steward of the land and a responsibility to grow the community through business development. Over the years, Mr. Carmichael supported and mentored many local pilots, aircraft engineers, mechanics, flight attendants, and dispatchers. Gratitude for his support was reciprocated through the establishment of a scholarship fund in his honor, helping individuals in the region who want to return to school. His service to the community has been recognized with many awards and honors, such as a National Aboriginal Achievement Award and being inducted as a member of the Order of Canada, which he always accepts with great humility. The people of Inuvik successfully lobbied to have the local airport named after him, a testament to his service and dedication to the people of the community. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Frederick James Carmichael and ask that you will confer on him the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the legislature of the province and with the consent of the Senate of this university, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa and invest you with all the powers, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Good afternoon, Madam Chancellor, Madam President, honored guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I spent about 58 going on 59 years as a pilot flying from one end of the country to the other through many storms and what have you, but I've never been as nervous as I am now. I've been truly struggling to find the words to express my appreciation for this honorary degree. I appreciate the opportunity to address and congratulate you graduates. I am truly honored, humbled, and deeply touched. This day is not about me. This day is about you graduates. This day is a celebration of your achievements and the hard work you've done to earn your degrees. Since being informed by this honorary degree, I've been thinking about what I could talk about and what could I say that graduates and guests might find interesting or useful. However, I never had the opportunity of a formal education, so I thought I might share a brief story on informal education, the kind I received from life. I've lived a long life, so it'll be a long speech. Not to worry. I was born in Aklavik, Northwest Territories. Since I'm a pilot, I'll give you a some coordinates on that. Aklavik is approximately 60 miles to the south of the Arctic Ocean. It's 424 miles east of Fairbanks, Alaska, and 1,450 miles northwest of your beautiful city of Saskatoon. That's as the crow flies. While my parents kept a small house in the village, our main home was on our trap line about 20 miles to the south of Aklavik. When I was a child, the people had their homes out on their trap lines. People only came in to the village on special occasions like Christmas, Easter, and other holidays. Excuse me. Some lived in tents, others lived in small cabins. My only brother and I attended residential school in Aklavik as day students. However, when I was about 10 years old, our main home in the bush burnt down to the ground. We had left our cabin in the morning with our dad and went to work our trap lines. After a bit, we noticed large plumes of smoke coming from our cabin. We rushed home with our dog team, but it was too late. We lost everything we owned. As a result, our parents could not afford to put us into the residential boarding school in Aklavik. So my brother and I had to leave school to help the family rebuild our home by hunting, trapping, fishing, and cutting logs for a new home. My first teachers were my parents, and the first thing I learned were survival and self-sufficiency. It was a do or die. It was about how to live off the land for food and how to earn a living from trapping, hunting, and fishing. But as time went by, I began to realize that unlike my parents and my brother, I wasn't really cut out to be a trapper. But fortunately, as a young boy, I saw an airplane land at my bush camp for the first time. After dropping off supplies, I watched the pilot take off and disappear into the horizon. I thought, man, if I could only fly an airplane like that someday. My dream was hatched. I was very fortunate to later meet a flying missionary in Aklavik who was an ex-Air Force pilot and who, in spite of my extreme shyness, saw my keen interest in flying. He encouraged me and arranged to have me enrolled in a flying school in Edmonton, Alberta. I went to work at various jobs and earned enough money to travel 1,200 miles south to Edmonton for flying lessons. I went to a Bible college during the day, flight ground school at night, and flew on weekends. So how did a guy with such a limited education get to do all the things I've been able to do? It was because of excellent teachers and mentors. For example, my ground school instructor was a retired Air Force pilot in a wheelchair who lost both legs during the war. He was a true educator who still had a lot to offer a student like me. He was a person who saw potential in me, who believed in me when sometimes I was doubtful and didn't believe in myself, and who took me under his wing. Thanks to his determination to teach, I am who I am today. To say it's 59 years ago, I still get emotional. I've seen many changes in the North, changes in our northern economy, changes in political development, and changes in our way of life. There has been an extremely rapid change from trapping economy to the cash economy that we are all dependent on today. For example, the first high school in our region was only built in 1960. Today, there are schools and college learning centers in all 23 communities of the Northwest Territories. People of the North realize how important education is today in order to succeed. That is why during my 8-year term as president of the Gwich'in Tribal Council, we invested heavily in programs to support our Gwich'in people to gain a sound foundation in education. We look to the future and we recognize that the North is a combination of many cultures. The Northwest Territories is the only political region in Canada which recognizes 11 official languages. 9 are Aboriginal and belong to 3 different language groups, Dene, Inuit, and Cree. Aboriginal youth are the fastest growing population in Canada, and that includes the North. A sound education is needed for these youth in order for them to become the great leaders of tomorrow. Like your University of Saskatchewan alumnus, Mr. Joseph Hanley, a true role model, a former teacher, a former Minister of Education, and a former Premier of the Northwest Territories. Mr. Hanley nominated me for this honorary degree, and he drove all the way from Yellowknife by car with his wife, Teresa, who is also alumnus of the, and they are here with me today. I would like to recognize Mr. Hanley by asking him to please stand. Thank you, Joe. The point I'm making here, and which I cannot emphasize enough, is that educators like you, all of you graduates, have such an important role to play. You're in your classroom and in your fieldwork. You are in a unique and powerful position to impact the future of your students. You have the power to support the dreams that will encourage your students to succeed, just like my teacher in the wheelchair did for me so many years ago. Thanks to his belief in me, I still enjoy living my dream as an aircraft pilot. Thanks to his belief in me, I am a successful and rewarding career and a satisfying life. I will be forever grateful to that educator. In closing, I want to congratulate all of you today for all your hard work and dedication you have put into achieving your education degree. I also want to invite you to visit and perhaps work in our beautiful Northwest Territories. Most of all, I want to wish you every success in your career, whether it be in teaching, business, politics, government, or wherever your flight plan takes you. You have the power. Thank you, Masi Cho, and God bless.
Thank you, Dr. Carmichael. That was inspiring. And I'm going to raise some of the same themes, so let me thank you for being such an exceptional speaker and for making it clear how much, what kind of role an educator can play in the lives of the people they touch. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Eileen Bush-Vishniak, the President and Vice Chancellor of the University of Saskatchewan. It is my honor to be with you on this milestone occasion. I especially welcome the graduands who are about to become graduates, to their families, friends, neighbors, and everyone in the community who is here. I offer my sincere congratulations to everyone on what our graduates have achieved. It's been a process of very long time in the making,
and my comments will really be directed again toward these graduates. You've spent years in lectures, in labs, in libraries. You've written hundreds of thousands of words for papers and exams. You've read line after line of academic text in literary prose. You've made countless trips through our tunnels for a cup of coffee and a bite to eat, some of you at times in your pajamas. And along the way, you've no doubt made many friends and memories that I hope will be with you for years to come, and that I hope will bring a tear to your eyes when you think about 69 years from now. All of what you have done has led to this point, which culminates here today with a few dozen steps across the stage at your convocation to receive a parchment, your degree. You have earned that degree, which signifies your accomplishment, and that is no small feat. Earning a degree requires time, hard work and dedication, and sometimes a bit of tenacity. With this degree, you have also earned the right to reflect on your accomplishment, and you've earned some time to celebrate with your family, friends, and fellow graduates. But if you think you're done, and you will get that degree and walk away, and you're finished, I'm sorry to bring you news. You're not even close to being done. You're just getting started. As I hope this is something you've discovered while at U of S, learning is a lifelong endeavor. And for as much as you have put into achieving what you have today, the payoff will be even greater in the years to come because, like I've said, you're just getting started. Your degree opens many doors, and behind each is an opportunity to pursue. Some opportunities will come because of the many things you have learned and for which you have demonstrated proficiency. And some opportunities will come your way because of the relationships you made during your time at university. Those relationships that endure, whether with classmates, professors, or any other member of the university community, may surprise you with the introductions and access they present in the future. That's the thing about the time you've spent at university, the education you've earned, and the relationships you've made contribute to a very bright future. From astrophysicists to zoologists and everything in between, today you will join the ranks of close to 140,000 University of Saskatchewan alumni around the world who have opened many doors and pursued countless opportunities. The education you received at the U of S has armed you with great potential. More so than ever before, the careers we step into change year by year. They require graduates with skills, flexibility, and ability to adapt, and as part of virtually every degree we offer, we've prepared you for this world. One of the most important things we've taught you is how to continually learn. To earn a university degree, it is not adequate to simply show up for class and memorize everything you think might be on the test. I suspect many of you know this from having tried that technique in a course or two. To earn what you all are about to receive today, you needed to learn how to think critically and keep learning. That is perhaps the most important skill for the future, because the only thing we can promise is that change is inevitable and that it will occur faster than ever before. Your degree equips you to be ready for this. You are going to work at your career for many years, and we hope that we've helped you discover something you're truly passionate about. I hope that when you awaken and get ready to go to work, you face each day with the same enthusiasm and joy that I feel every morning as I prepare to go to the office. Our university over the years has been focused on the needs of our community. As technology has made communication instantaneous and pervasive, we now focus not just on Saskatchewan, but also on our national and global community as well. That shows in our research, and it also shows in the teaching and learning activities that focus on applications. Because the U of S focuses on the needs of communities, so do our graduates and alumni who step into those communities to work. That's why your U of S degree, which I hope you display prominently, means so much. You are ready to be the next generation of learners and experts needed to address globally significant issues. Your education will take you where you want to go, but I hope it leads you back to the U of S campus often, because beyond preparing graduates for the meaningful and fulfilling career that they want, we hope you appreciate the full university experience. That's the broader value of the university degree. That experience creates networks for your entire life. Those networks make you a part of our U of S Husky community. And I hope you choose to stay connected to our community and to let us know how you're doing. Each and every one of you has now become an ambassador for the University of Saskatchewan, because what you accomplish in your life builds not only the communities in which you live, but also the university's reputation in those communities. And conversely, everything the U of S achieves as an institution increases the value of your degree. Rest assured that we will work to make certain that the U of S is better today than it was yesterday, and stronger tomorrow than it is today. We will work to ensure the value of your University of Saskatchewan degree only grows, and that you can be proud of your alma mater. We have faith in your ability to succeed in your chosen path. After all, you are a University of Saskatchewan graduate. Thank you.
Eminent Chancellor, Madam President, members of the University Senate and Board, I present to you the petition of the Council of this University that the candidates to be named, having fulfilled all the requirements of the bylaws, may, with your permission, be admitted to the degrees and certificates to which they are entitled.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the legislature of this province, and with the consent of the Council of this University, I consent to admit you to the degrees and certificates to which you are entitled, and to invest you with all the powers, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Would the graduands in the front row please rise and come to the platform? Graduands, as you make your way forward, I'll just let you know how the conferring of degrees will unfold. As you near the first podium, please stop and face the audience as the hood will be put over your shoulders. Once you have been hooded, proceed to the first podium where the orator will present each of you by name. Once your name has been announced, proceed to shake the Chancellor's hand, and the Chancellor then tells you that you have been admitted to the Convocation of the University of Saskatchewan. You will then continue across the platform to be greeted by your Dean or Associate Dean of the College and to receive your parchment from them. As you go down the steps, you will be welcomed as new members of the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association by a representative of the association.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Education, I present to you these scholars and ask that you confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Education. Alyssa Eileen Allen, with distinction. Hillary Eleanor Annison, with distinction. Janice Amy Apices, with distinction. Todd Stewart Atkins, with distinction. Tia Ray Baker, with distinction. Ryan D. Baptiste. Jory Ray Baptiste. Luke Alden Barsht. Kendra Renee Bast, with distinction. Lillian R. Bear. Shanna Rayanne Bear. Elise Antoinette Beckett, with distinction. Marion Grace Beads. Marion? David Patrick Bennett. Morgan Elise Beswick with distinction. Brianna Megan Bird with distinction. Jenna Doreen Blanchette with distinction. Courtney Ariel Blatz with distinction. Chelsea Ann Bourgeon with great distinction. Laura Shannon Boyle. Jason Harvey Brandt. Katerina Kelly Braybook with great distinction. Kristen Lynn Britton with distinction. Elise Nicole Brown with distinction. Megan Elizabeth Brooks with great distinction. Kelly Nicole Bueller with distinction. Matthew Richard Burgess with distinction. Sherelle Lorraine Cadron with distinction. Brooke Danae Cardiff. Vivian Rose Cardinal. Janet Judith Caribou. Sarah Jane Casey with distinction. Kelsey Rose Femi Chabot with distinction. Megan Elizabeth Rose Shabbat with distinction. Brittany Eileen Chapman with distinction. Carly Julia Elizabeth Chapman with distinction. Clinton Raymond Chokin with distinction. Laura Lee Joan Chokin. Megan Courtney Christensen with distinction. Kimberly Marie Chiswick with distinction. Haley Jordan Core Claire with distinction. Sorry. Joanna Marlene Clancy with distinction. Curtis Braden Clement. Chelsea Alice Marie Coburn with distinction. Chelsea Lynn Coburn with distinction. Brandy Marjorie Conoyer. Kayla Brittany Conoyer with distinction. Shelby Nicole Davy with distinction. Kelly Marie Davies with distinction. Brianna Danielle Davies with distinction. Allison Marie DeHoop with great distinction. Terrence John Dementreco with distinction. Jamie Joyce Donier. Lauren Jewel Dupe with distinction. Marina Alessandra Duffus with distinction. Sarah Elizabeth Dicer with distinction. Tyler William Eaglesham. Kaylee Elian. Colleen Megan Elliott with distinction. Christy Lynn Ernest with distinction. Eric Murray Fahey. Sarah Lynn Faithful. Taryn Janelle Gray Ferguson with distinction. Sherry Candace Finday with distinction. Davin Randall Fisher. Corinne Leanna Fowler. Christy Lee Friesen with distinction. Mitchell Courtney Friesen. Congratulations. Bethany Christine Gartner with distinction. Pamela Michelle Gagnon with distinction. I'm sorry. Mark Patrick Gaines with distinction. Jessica Jo Ganzert with distinction. Blaine Marie Godot with distinction. Melissa Allison, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to do that again. Melissa Alice Gelowitz with distinction. Matthew Lee Jenru. Jenner? Jenru. With distinction. Michelle Dawn Gervais with distinction. Christy Ray Glencross with distinction. Matthew Travis Graham. Deepak Grover with distinction. David Peter Gunther with distinction. Kimberly Claire Gulak with distinction. Kendall Marie Gunderson with distinction. Sherry Lee Margaret Hamilton. Melissa Dawn Ham, with distinction. Jayla Courtney Hammond. Giselle Dana Hansen Priest, with distinction. Catherine Frances Harding, with distinction. Alana Jane Harrison. Melissa Nicole Helston. Katina Marie Hill. Jennifer Catherine Holtzman, with distinction. Lindsay Jordan Hopkins, with distinction. Michelle Lee Ann Heikren. Alicia Haroku, with distinction. Artist Francine Iron, with distinction. Marcella Rochelle Iron. Lee Ann Jacobson, with distinction. Joshua Jordan Jalbert. Nathan Earl Jeffries, with distinction. Rebecca Patricia Jenkins, with distinction. Adriana Lee Joel, with distinction. Andrea Carey Johansson. Randy Richard Johnson, with distinction. Leanne Ruth Kadischuk, with distinction. Chad Kapesewat.
Pamela Grace Kakakawe, with distinction. Nancy Lee Keller. Erica Ann Kelly, with distinction. Randy Dawn Kashane. Brendan Joseph Kiefer. Mariana Lisa Kindrachuk, with distinction. Brianne Darlene Kirk, with distinction. Matthew Ryan Cargard, with distinction. Alisa Marie Clausen, with distinction. Quinn Dirk Kleibar, with distinction. Kristen Lynn Kleiter, with distinction. Robin Lee Knight, with distinction. Blair Colleen Elise Conkin, with distinction. Catherine Marie Corman, with distinction. Natasha Irene Cramble, with distinction. Brendan James Kruger. Brittany Michelle Lavas, with distinction. Julia Karen Lane, with distinction. Joshua Tynan Lapointe. Jenny Catherine Leake, with great distinction. Kelsey Jean Levins, with great distinction. Ashley Lynn Lipitsky, with distinction. Latraka Faye Lesko, with great distinction. John James Lintott, with distinction. Brittany Mary Lloyd, with distinction. Jesse Michael Loboda. Morgan Aaron Leffelholtz, with distinction. Erica Ann Long, with great distinction. Catherine Wayne Lorway, with distinction. Kelsey Lynn Loykin, with distinction. Jason Vital McLeod. Kyle Richard Males, with distinction. Karina Rose Marks, with distinction. Cheyenne Jason Masuskapo. Kristen Marissa Machi, with distinction. Ryan Scott McAllister, with distinction. Lauren Ashley McCarthy, with distinction. Christopher William McComb, with distinction. Cassandra Ray McKeever, with distinction. Jerry Lou Janice McKelvey, with distinction. Kimberly Ann McLean, with distinction. Jaylyn Elizabeth Middleton, with distinction. Kristen Michelle Miller, with distinction. Shauna Marie Morin, with great distinction. Michael John Moser. Congratulations. Angel Alexandra Nastis. Laquina Nadine Nastis. Marley Brooke Naylor, with distinction. Madeline Veronica Nenik Kasum. Penny Heather Elizabeth Nilsson, with distinction. Leslie Nicole Nippy. Emma Marie Nystuen. Vela Michelle Okamau. Richard James Oles, with distinction. Reed Connor Oliver. Mackenzie Jill Olson, with distinction. Evan Daniel Pasternak. Heather Margaret Ellen Pittman, with distinction. Kayla Jolie Marie Privé, with distinction. Neosa Ann Priya Quinney, with distinction. Kelly Christine Raven, with distinction. Tirza Raylene Rylkoff, with great distinction. Jenna Lenore Reamer, with distinction. Jacqueline Kelly Renwick, with great distinction. Tanisha Whitney Retterath, with distinction. Morgan Lindsay Rieger, with distinction. Dorcine Ryan. Congratulations. Amanda Claire Salmon, with distinction. Paul Allen Sarsons. Congratulations. Melissa Carmen Saville, with distinction. Morgan Rose Sawatsky, with distinction. Vanessa Lynn Shawn, with distinction. Jade Carleen Schell, with distinction. Megan Joy Schick, with great distinction. Crystal Ray Schindel, with distinction. Catherine Lorraine Scott, with distinction. Riley J. Sharp, with distinction. Laura Ann Shaw, with distinction. Catherine Brianne Shukin. Stacy Lee Simpson, with distinction. Thomas Gordon Skelton. Rhonda Mary Irene Smallchild. Congratulations. Brittany Lee Smith, with distinction. Jesslyn Marie Smith, with distinction. Kaylin Marie Smith, with great distinction. Rochelle Amber Sperling, with distinction. Eric Ray Standing. Congratulations. Avril Katrina Steyer. Joel Emmanuel Stevenson, with great distinction. Taylor Ray Stromberg, with distinction. Alexandra Dawn Strunk. Congratulations. Jocelyn Nadine Templeton, with distinction. Caitlin Andrea Templeton, with distinction. Patrick Armand Thalheimer, with distinction. Caitlin Renee Thompson. Congratulations. Elizabeth Jan Lily Thompson, with distinction. Julia Marie Thompson, with distinction. Victoria Pearl Toop, with distinction. Gregory Daniel Torwalt, with distinction.
Morag Jillian Wagner, with distinction. Skylar Sharon Walking Bear. Dabney Larissa Warren. Christopher Watson. Thank you. Amanda Ray Weaver. Owen Wayne Weimer. Allison Jeanette Werner, with great distinction. David Thomas Werner, with distinction. Catherine May Whitefish, with distinction. Thank you. Renee Lynn Whitstone, with distinction. Thank you. Tyler Jason Weeb. Darcy Scott Weens, with great distinction. Thank you. Alana Royal Williams. Thank you. Colin Gregory Wilms, with distinction. Sarah Christine Wilson, with distinction. Thank you. Petra Ann Yeager. Jordan Murray Young, with distinction. Riley Randall Zelke. Thank you. Sarah Virginia Zimmer. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Education. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Education, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the combined degrees of Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Music in Music Education. I present to you Jacqueline Sarah Fetter. Jennifer J. Hainan with distinction. Kaylin Marie Hanat. Caitlin Marie, I apologize. Thank you. William Evan Caulfield. Bryce Adam Ray Lazitza with distinction. Thank you. Daniel James Uchik. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the combined degree of Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Music in Music Education. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Education, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the Post-Degree Certificate in Education, Special Education. I present to you Bing Tsui. Sherry Elaine Gibson. Hugh Dennis Hamilton. Daryl Wayne Heskin. Marcia Renee Johnson. Joanne Faye Lapierre. Jolynn Marie Sorensen. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the Post-Degree Certificate in Education, Special Education. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Education, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars from the College of Education and ask that you confer on them the degree of Master of Education. I present to you Aaron Wayne Adair. Carrie Gay Albert. Yvette Marie Arcand. Christy Margaret Bowman. Thank you. Jennifer Kalinda Bersier. Ranabel Bernales. Curtis Henry Beam. Leanne Marie Borsmeyer. Karen Louise Brander. Laureen May Bredner. Karen Lee Brody. Dawn Noreen Caswell Falk. Colleen Joyce Charles. Jill Monique Chenard. Zoe D. Cahoon. Amy Christine Cosgrove. U Dai. Janelle Olasha Davey. Colette Rayanne Delaney. Michelle Ray Dewar. Hui Ding. Heath Robert Drennan. Shannon Lee Duntington. Valerie Ann Epp. Xingru Fang. Sean Douglas Flett. Deneen Verley Fontaine. Trevor Kyle Fraze. Corey Dale Ryan Gowan. Christopher Scott Granger. Pamela Ray Graysby Sawatsky. Marnie Lynn Gutcher. Ryan Lincoln Hall. Natalie Cara Hausman. Jolynn Ann Jocelyn. Glenn Allen Key. Momina A. Khan. Jason Robert Kish. Colleen Marie Kowalik. Paul Wilfred Ledoux. King King Lin. Noella Lynn Mitzwing. Tyler Curtis Monday.
Tyler, I had to jump on.
Thanks, Fred.
Brandon Howard William Needham. Lisa K. Obragewicz. Daniel Thomas Osborne. Lucille Marie Otero. Linda Louise Perrant. Clayton Kent Parabik. Glenn Wesley Patco. Jiajia Tian. Craig Stephen Reinhardt. Bradley Wayne Roof. Angela Renee Margaret Schindel. Christopher Brian Scribe. Krista Ray Sego. Tricia Shinkaruk. Carrie Christine Steeney. Jeffrey Curtis Gar Chui Tang. Gregory Roy Tebay. Deborah Ann Thomas. Kimberly Jean Tomliston. Cindy Amelia Thompson. Naomi Victoria Thunderchild Bird. Allison Hillary Treble. Kelsey Lynn Sugrianis. Peter Martin Turner. Joshua Brent Colin Weed. Kendra Gale Warman. John Edward Wright. Long Mei Wu. Kylie Zhu. Loran Catherine Young. Jiani Zhang. Shi Zhang. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Education in the College of Education.
Eminent Chancellor, in the name of the faculties, I ask you to grant the degrees and certificates in absentia to those students who have met the requirements to graduate but were not able to be present today.
At the request of the faculties, I authorize these degrees and certificates to be granted.
Good afternoon. My name is Lori Helston. I am the Associate Dean in the College of Education. Today it is my pleasure to present the Saskatchewan Teachers Federation Prize to Megan Brooks. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Megan. Megan Brooks was born in Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan, and grew up on a nearby acreage along with her parents and 3 younger siblings. She graduated from Carpenter High School in Meadow Lake in 2006 and recognized a love of learning that later prompted her to pursue a Bachelor of Education degree here at the University of Saskatchewan. Her enthusiasm for learning was encouraged in her time here, and during her tenure, she has been privileged to receive several awards, including the Saskatchewan Teachers Federation Scholarship, the University of Saskatchewan Scholarship, the Centennial Fund Scholarship, the Dean's Honor Roll, a membership in Saskatchewan Teachers of English Language Arts, and an invitation to join the Golden Key Honor Society. Megan's extracurricular interests include painting, playing the piano, studying languages, and volunteering in community-based outreach organizations. Megan's future goals involve pursuing a career in the field of education, working with children and youth, and raising a family of her own. Please join me in congratulating Megan Brooks on her outstanding achievements.
It is my pleasure to present Governor General's awards to the students who have received the highest marks in their programs. And in this particular afternoon, I get to also give Megan a Governor General's Silver Medal.
Eminent Chancellor, Madam President, platform participants, graduates, and guests. Eminent Chancellor, as this is your last convocation as our Chancellor, the Alumni Association would like to thank you for all of your hard work and efforts and for being a great ambassador of our university. Thank you. My name is Judy McMillan, and I am a proud U of S alumni. I earned my Bachelor of Science of Agriculture in 1979, and as a member of the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association, it is my pleasure to congratulate the class of 2013 and welcome each of you as our association's newest members. Today, as you have received your degree, your relationship with the university has changed forever. You are now a member of the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association. You have joined our alumni family, a family with a storied history of excellence, a family of well-accomplished and distinguished alumni. You join fellow education graduates like Gary Maristy, Vice President of Corporate Social Responsibility at Cameco, former Member of Parliament, and former Grand Chief of Prince Albert Grand Council. As well, Betty Ann Latrace Henderson, President of Airline Hotels. Clearly, you are in good company, and deservedly so. You are the next generation of alumni who will confidently carve your own path and add chapters to the story of this great university over a century in the making. As you embark on new endeavors and build your careers, be sure to draw on your fellow alumni. Remember the role this institution has played in your life and make a conscious effort to keep in touch. But most importantly, display the degree that you received today with pride wherever you are, to let the world know that you are a difference maker and a leader. You now have the knowledge and the tools to make a difference, and we can't wait to see what you do next. So on behalf of all of us that have come before you, a very warm welcome and heartfelt congratulations. Welcome to the University of Saskatchewan alumni family.
This brings our convocation ceremony to a close, but before we do, I would like to thank a number of people. First, Darren Olerking and the University Wind Orchestra. Our vocalist, Alison Walmsley. The drum group, Wild Horse. Robert Badger, Traditional Knowledge Keeper. Our signer, Chrissy Haynes. And Danielle Redoulier, Convocation Coordinator, and all the members of her team in making these ceremonies a success. Finally, to the graduates, enjoy today and savor your success. You have acquired an important key to your future, but your degree is not your only acquisition today. It combines with other important but less tangible benefits which have shaped you and will contribute to who you are in the future. For the rest of your life, you will retain a treasure of memories of your time at the University of Saskatchewan, of faculty who made a difference, of your fellow students and experiences, some enriching, and even if a few were a tad less so, even then you are still learning. You are an alumnus of a proud and successful university. Take that legacy with you wherever you go. The University of Saskatchewan is the bond that unites us all because we have all been touched in one way or another by our experience as part of the university. Those who came before us helped to establish this bond. Now I'm asking you to help ensure that it remains strong in the future. I ask you to please remain seated until the platform party has left the stage.